The 12th of August 1776, the Naval Committee has decided to deal with Block Island once and for all. In addition to being an important port for keeping New York supplied, it has also been used as a base to attack our fleets and shipping. So we're going to deal with Block Island, and that means an amphibious assault. We have 3 large troop transports, the Old Terror, which is the former Minerva, the Old True Love, and the Old Tina. I think that's enough troops, and if we need to, we'll drop off the troops from the 3rd rate. Well, let's get into the fighting. You've also been ordered to attack the island and capture the port. With Block Island out of British hands, their supply situation will be much more precarious, and our ships will once again be able to sail safely in these waters. So we're going to take the USS Trident, our 3rd rate, and the 3 troop transports. Doesn't look like there's any navy. Captain, the British warships have departed from port in search of our ships. They won't interfere with our mission. Okay, so there's no naval fighting. You are free to land your troops and attack the port. And we shall do it. Our ships have suffered enough from the British raids originating from this island. It's time to shut them down. Scouting the island to see if we can get any free kills. We've got the coastal battery there. We'll have to pull up short of that. But let's set up the Trident here as overwatch on the town. And as soon as we see them, we'll be able to bombard them. The cliffs are a little bit high, but I'm pretty sure she's tall enough to throw shells up there. Let's stop her up here. She may even be able to shoot at the coastal artillery from there. I'm not sure her chances of hitting them though. Our troop transports are getting close to shore. We'll stop them up here and disembark. I would like to add a couple more transports. I'm not sure how large the missions will get. We could have brought 4 to this mission. So maybe I'll need 5 troop transports. The Old Terror is the Minerva. And I've taken her guns off her so she can fit a mixed bag. She has less carry capacity than the other transports. So I figured I'd make her as a utility ship. She's got a unit of artillery, some mortars, a supply wagon, or supplies, and the rear guard. And the main force are landing now. Trying to get this little boat to hit the shore properly. There we are, fusiliers are up. We have 6 units. And enough supplies to get us through the fighting. The last land battle we didn't have any supplies and I didn't like that feeling. Let's get some fire up here on the artillery. Can we hit them? Ooh, not quite. Not quite. Maybe we should move forward a little bit. Just after 9 AM on Block Island, and we've had our first sighting of the bad guys. Fusiliers and a unit of grenadiers. Fortunately, our artillery are just coming off the beach, and they'll be ready in a moment. And we can just keep them at arm's length. It will take them some time to bring artillery up to face us if they have it. Well, let's stop the Trident, and let's see if we can wipe out the coastal battery. Not quite. If we could wipe that out, I could sneak the ship around and shoot into the town near the port. But we don't want to leave her open to those 9-pound guns. Possibly bigger. Still fighting. There's some skirmishers as well, approaching our lines. We have a lot of cover. We're trading well. Now all of our troops are correctly fitted out. The rear guard have some Ferguson rifles. Very expensive to buy, so they're definitely reserved for panic situations. Artillery open and up. Smashing into the Fusiliers. We've got some Marines trying to flank us from the north. I hear more troops moving. Just more skirmishers. Here they come. After they fire, we'll creep forward. And they can move while they reload. Move the line up in a slow pace. Slowly take ground. We've got 6-pounder guns. And they're enough to scare away the infantry. The Grenadiers are coming back. Skirmishers trying to draw us out, but we have artillery support, so we have no reason to chase them. If the Redcoats had artillery, then skirmishers are a worry because they spot for the artillery. And at some point I'm going to form the Rangers and we'll have some of our own skirmish units. You can detach skirmishers from your main units, but they die very quickly. We've shattered one unit of enemy skirmishers. We are getting some shells up there. The artillery crew has taken some losses. No doubt from splinter shells. Our troops are trading really well. Having upgraded our rifles to the Sea Service 38s, they got pretty good handling. So far, 4-1. We do vastly outnumber the enemy we're facing. The Grenadiers are a concern. They're quite a tough unit. We focus them down. Don't want to creep too far forward with the Trident. Chase these Marines off, but no, that's not a good idea. They could have a huge force. Right, we'll take some more ground. And once the line's settled, we'll move up the artillery as well. Our supply wagons are only supplying artillery. The rifles we will resupply as needed. So far, not much of resistance. We could really just push hard. But I just don't like walking into artillery traps. Still slowly chipping away at the coastal. I don't think that's going to have much effect. Judging by the way the balls are hitting the mountainside, I don't even think the fire support into the town will be that effective. What I might do is I might try and split off a couple of units of Fusiliers and then break off some skirmishers and try and get up that side passage towards the coastal emplacement. But it's time to advance. Let's push, take some ground. 9:30 in the morning. Let's grab a bunch and set up the lines. We've got our control group set up. Reset them. Transports are safe. Alright, let's do it. Holding fire on the artillery just to preserve some ammunition. Get the mortars to do it. We'll save the cannon for when they have to shoot into the town. Every time the mortars hit, I gave them an officer with high perception, which is accuracy skill. And it's paying off. And then also shooting a ship to death, 2 ships to death, gave them lots of experience. So they've got extra supply and extra accuracy, as well as their skilled officer. So that's going to be great. Those 2 units of Fusiliers I'm going to break off the skirmishers. Slowly advancing across the island. We're going to stop. I have a feeling they have artillery. And the skirmishers will answer that question for us. I've got a small gap in the line here, but I'm determined to get rid of these grenadiers. They're just so stubborn. The grenadiers are trading really well with our troops. But the enemy fusiliers are no match for ours. But I'm also scared to charge grenadiers because they have great melee stats. No matter what weapon they're wielding. Alright, our skirmishers. Let's move them up the cliffside. Crept a little bit too far forward with the trident. Fortunately, they have unlimited ammo. Alright, so we can see some militia units guarding the approaches to the ammo store. Let's see if we can get up and silence these coastal guns. Our first attempt at a ranger mission. Break off these skirmishers here to chase down the Fusilier units. I am sick of committing a whole line to chase down nobodies. The way they kite you like that is actually really frustrating. Because you don't get access to cavalry, and the cavalry I have been given is pretty useless. Dragoons are not good. Mostly because everyone has bayonets, so the cavalry just gets spiked. They're only really good as a mobile scout, really. Or to surgically strike an artillery unit you might find stranded. But detaching skirmishers, the unit's just not big enough for my liking. I would like a unit of 100 men. They could do some real work. Alright, we have artillery, as I expected. Unfortunately, the other coastal battery is able to shoot our skirmishers, which is not part of the plan. I was hoping to silence the coastal battery, but they've got crossfire. One of the coastal artillery has taken a lot of losses from our constant bombardment from the Trident. I'm going to move our artillery line up closer to the town, and the infantry will move to envelop those stragglers. We'll put the skirmishers back in their unit. Just a simple click of the button, I do like that. Uh-oh, we got charged by Fusiliers. Trying to silence these cannon, but our Fusilier skirmishers have shattered. We're going to have to move up an actual line of infantry. We do have a clear approach. So now that we know what's there, we'll act on that intelligence. Unfortunately, our Fusiliers got creamed. Alright, so now straggler units are trying to kite us back to the actual town. We can see, and they've got mortars. Alright, we're going to have to get some counter battery fire up. Charge those guys. There's only 20 left. Oh, their mortar shells landing amidst our infantry despite being in cover. We're going to push right up the hill, silence that cannon, and hope that the coastal battery on the other side doesn't do too much damage to us. It's up to the skill of our men now. We've got a solid line facing off, but we are under constant bombardment until we can silence that mortar. And that means either a charge straight into the center of town, or hoping that we can outshoot them. Move up our 6-pounders and the rear guard there, watching the flanks. Alright, that cannon is silenced. Race up the hill. Actually, no, don't. You'll get murdered by the Trident's fury. One of the coastal guns has been silenced. hold the line there with that unit of Fusiliers, but not sort of being obscured by the building from the militia unit. Let's get up here and silence these guns, and then we can bring the Trident closer. We'll get her on a course for that. Hurry. Before that other... Oh, there's also another artillery piece as well. That's not great. Maybe we should have done a two-pronged attack. Attacked both sides of the town before coming into the center. If you're going to play the mission, do it that way. 2 units of Fusiliers to each coastal emplacement up the side, and then encircle the town. That way the mortar can't just fire on a solid line, I guess. So far, so good. Trident's going to clear out the other coastal batteries. She just has too much firepower, and at that range she can arc the shots in, which is good. And then we'll put some fire support on the town. The artillery crew's coming back. Oh, the Fusiliers that cleared the coastal emplacement, unfortunately, they can't take the pressure. That unit of Fusiliers got smashed. We should have charged in. We've got some Grenadiers surrendering, thankfully. They're the harder opponent. We've got Fusiliers looking at running up to the other coastal battery, but they're hiding behind the manor at the moment. The artillery crew's trying to jump back on their cannon. We've got a clear line of sight to put some fire support in on that beach. Let's move our Fusiliers closer. If we can at least take out that one unit of artillery. They're bringing one down the hill. That's great. It's closing the distance for us. Alright, let's start encircling this entrance to the town. The rear guard are going to keep the Grenadiers escorted back to the boat. I would hate for a loose unit to grab them up and switch them back to the Redcoats. Got another unit of Grenadiers, so we're pulling the Fusiliers back. It's too risky to go head to head with 2 units and try to take the artillery. The Redcoats are back on their cannon. We have to do something about that. Militia in the center of town have broken under the hail of mortar fire. 6-pound cannon are going to try and counter battery on the coastal battery. Oh, the militia are routing straight into our line of Fusiliers on the southern side of town. Once we clear up those routing units, oh, friendly fire from the mortar. We're setting up a line to face the Grenadiers and the Fusiliers on the northern side of town. Make sure we're going 1-to-1. Bring another unit in to assist with the militia have surrendered. Bring them out. Head them up with the rear guard. Right, hold the line against that militia. Our unit's reformed. Let's charge them back up the hill to take that cannon again. They're still under fire from the coastal battery. You're probably better off coming from the north side of town. Or like I said, doing 2-pronged. We've got this. We've got it. Supply wagon is almost empty, but the guns are still full. So we had just enough to keep them stocked through this mission and keep the fire up the whole time. If we increase the amount of cannon, we'll need to bring more supply. So if I could find another ship like Old Terror that can carry a diverse array of troops, that might be the way to go. A mortar unit, an infantry, a supply wagon, and a cannon, or something like that. The landing assistance parties. And then the other transports can just be pure infantry. Alright, Grenadiers have made it back to the beach. Get on the boats. You've got to go to the Trident. Off to Australia. It's where all our other prisoners went in our last amphibious operation. Only this time, Australia's being colonised by the United States. That's how thoroughly we are spanking the British. I do wonder if we'll get to take the fight to the British. I know that John Paul Jones did sail the waters, his home waters, for a period of time, trying to do some privateering. I believe he stole some silver or something like that. Or he was given some silver by a friendly lord's wife. The battle's going well. Trident's going to start now offering fire support. I think we're well out of range of the coastal battery. So those guys on the beach will get a turn next. Charging into the town from the southern side, southwest side. The rear guard's going to move in and do some fighting, trying to escort the cannon in closer. We've had another surrender. Small unit of Fusiliers. We've taken control of the town proper as well as the ammunition dump. So now we just have to push them out of town or eradicate them. Be much better for my bottom line if they surrender. I'm going to move the supply wagon over to the ammo dump to top it up, to fill it up. Because you get money for any supplies you have left over. But I don't believe you get it from the ammo dumps. A relatively simple mission for our now experienced Marines. We spent some time to clear up the island, capture all of the bad guys that are on the island. They've all been loaded above the transport ships. 500 losses. The enemy lost 1,500 men. That went really well. That just shows the power of a ship of the line in an amphibious operation. I hope we get to do more of those. I do enjoy those. We're going to top up our soldiers. We did take some losses, and we took one officer loss, unfortunately. But let's hope that those losses are few and far between. Upgrading them from the reserve so they don't lose experience, but we have a pretty experienced Marine Corps now. Very happy with that. Totally unprepared, the British have lost Block Island. It's on to the next chapter. After your success at Nova Scotia, the French have agreed to provide an additional support. We're in need of extra cannon, I think, rather than firearms. I've got the firearms on. Got that managed. We've got a nice array of captured weapons coming in from all the prisoners. And lots of extra work I do after the mission. If you're enjoying the series so far, make sure to hit the like button. There are a few more battles to come in the War for Independence. I'm Commander Tyrael. This is Ultimate Admirals. See you next time.